Hello, you beautiful people. It's Showtime, the start of a brand new theatre-filled podcast where we discuss all things theatre with a variety of guests and topics of discussions. So it's time to grab a brew, get settled down, and let's begin. It's Showtime. Good morning, my name is Chris Hanlon and welcome to It's Showtime, the brand new theatre podcast which looks to delve deep into the theatrical network as we discuss the ins and outs of theatre with performers, technicians, directors and creatives from the world of professional and amateur theatre. I am thrilled to welcome our next guest to It's Showtime. Our guest has a long-standing theatrical history. He is based down in St Ives in Cornwall. He's the Chairman of Trustees for a youth theatre charity. His pet hates include rustling sweet packets in the theatre and too much negativity. And his friends would describe him as supportive, honest and persuasive. Please welcome Mr. Phil Barnett. How are you doing, Phil?
I'm really good, thanks, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. It's great to talk to you, great to catch up with you. It's been quite a few years.
It has, yeah.
How are you doing with lockdown 3?
Not too bad, actually. Good, because I live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, so I can just go for a walk. I've just been for a walk and filmed the beach because it's lovely and sunny and everything, and the tide's coming in and it's windy, so the tide's roaring, and I fell over while I was filming, didn't I? The sand and everything on the beach, so.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that. Seen that.
I'll put it on Facebook later.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get started then. So the first sort of thing we do is an intro quiz getting to know you, and it's called It's Decision Time. It's decision time.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 15 questions, and you've got to answer A or B. No hesitation. Off we go. Chocolate or cheese?
Chocolate.
Cheesecake or Victoria sponge?
Cheesecake.
Ice cream or custard?
Ice cream.
Wine or beer?
Neither, I don't drink.
You don't drink, excellent. Custard cream or bourbon?
Bourbon.
Sunbathing or walking in the snow?
Whoa. Sunbathing.
Okay. Seaside or countryside?
Seaside.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Early bird or night owl?
Both.
Giving or receiving gifts?
Giving, I think, but I like receiving them as well, but giving.
Red or blue?
Red.
Savoury or sweet?
Sweet.
Tea or coffee?
Don't drink either. Don't like it.
Sunday lunch or Friday night takeaway?
Sunday lunch every time. I love a roast dinner.
Pepsi Max or Coca-Cola?
Pepsi and Max.
Excellent. Okay, so that was It's Decision Time. It's decision time. Well done, you've passed the first test. Okay, Phil, so for our listeners, tell me a bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm 60 years old, born in South Yorkshire in a little place called Goldthorpe that you know of quite well, and a minor son, grew up there, loved every minute of it. I had a fabulous childhood, even though it was a bit rough, and the people of the salt of the earth, rough diamonds, really gorgeous. Started off living by the railway, went to school, got into acting a bit, and an amateur form, used to play a lot of sports, ran in England International, used to play rugby for Yorkshire, used to play badminton for Yorkshire, did a lot of sport and a lot of acting, and I loved every day. Went to Wath Grammar School with William Hague, who everyone is a politician, with in the same class, and loved every single day at school. Loved most of my subjects, not all of them, but it was a fantastic school for sport, so I got a lot to do there. Then went into hairdressing quite by accident because I was hoping that I'd be a sportsman, and I hurt my knees when I was 16, and I was told I wouldn't be able to do professional sport. So I just went into hairdressing by accident. I just went for my haircut in somewhere, this big salon in Doncaster, and they said, "We're looking for apprentices. Why don't you come here?" So I just went there, and I love it because I like people and like talking to people. I got into hairdressing. And then when I was 20, moved down to St Ives in Cornwall. I used to go on holiday with my partner Ian there for 2 or 3 years before. We loved it. We went all times of the year. And then we came down here where I am now to live, and loved every single day of it. It's been nearly 40 years. I had my own hairdressing salons here. And because I did all the ladies from the local operatic society, and once they got a sniff that I'd done theatre in Yorkshire, they said, "We're always short of men. Come on, come on, come on." And I wouldn't. I said, "No, I'm building my own business. I can't afford to spend the time." And then one Friday afternoon, one of my clients come rushing in saying, "One of our leads has had to be taken into hospital, and the show starts on Monday. Can you take over a part?" And so, with 3 days' notice, I took over the part of Ambrose Kemper in Hello Dolly. And of course, then, you know, once I got the book back, I couldn't look back. I got fully into it again. Went on the committee of the St Ives Operatic Society. Used to put on little cabarets as fundraisers. And then somebody asked me if I'd do a fundraiser for Save the Children. So I said, "Yeah, well, why don't we use children then?" And so we did, and everybody loved it. The kids loved it. The audiences loved it. We made a lot of money for Save the Children. And then the kids and parents said, "Can we do more?" So by accident, Kids Are Us was born. That's 27 years last week since we started it.
Wow.
And, it's given me so many opportunities. It's been amazing. I've been on the board, a counsellor for NODA, counsellor for youth, and lots of involvement with NODA Summer School. And then we've got our own theatre in St Ives, built that up. It's an old Wesley chapel. And slowly over the last 20 odd years, we've been building it up and building it and building it up. We've now, instead of scenery, we've got these LED screens now, so we use those, and it's just great. And just had an absolute blast of a life. And here I am at 60. Don't know how that happened, because I don't feel 60. And I've just had a most blessed life, and I've loved every day of living in St Ives.
Well, to say you've crammed loads in would be a massive understatement. Massive understatement. So just go back then. How did moving? So obviously you loved St Ives in terms of going on holiday and stuff.
Yeah.
How does it come about? How do you make that decision that you're going to move down there?
I think I've always been a person who likes a challenge, and I've always been a person who strives for things and wants to reach my dreams and goals and everything. And I didn't realize there was anywhere in Britain that had palm trees and beautiful sea that is green and blue and golden sands. And, you know, I've been used to, and I mean, no offense, because I love these places, but I've been used to going to Blackpool and Skegness and Cleethorpes and Bridlington and things like that as a kid, which I loved, and I still do like going there when I get the chance. But this is like tropical, and it was like a dream. And I came down here at age 18 and just couldn't believe it. And so after living here, staying here in the winter and the summer, I said to my partner, Ian, shall we move down there? And he went, "Yeah, let's do it." So we did. And because I'd stayed with the same person in B&B, her best friend owned a hairdressing salon. And because I'd done her hair, she saw what I could do. And she said to me, "There's always a job here for you." So moved down, got a job, and then a year later got my own salon.
Amazing. So just tell me how you got into theatre.
Well, aged 9, I went to see a pantomime at the Welfare Hall in Goldthorpe. And the year before, my mother, that year after, when I watched it, there was a girl from my class in it. And I was sat there as a 9-year-old boy thinking they were all famous actors and actresses. And to see this girl in there, I couldn't believe it. So when I watched it, my mum got me all their autographs. And I thought I got, like, you know, the Oscars, the people who were in famous people. And I was showing everybody. And I couldn't understand it as a 9-year-old, how people were going, "Oh, that's very nice." Yeah, because I thought I got, like, you know, the top Broadway stars and everything. I thought I got Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney and all those type of characters. And then I said to this girl, how come you were in that pantomime? And she said, "Well, I just found out about it and I went along, and they said I could be in it." So the next year, I saw in the local paper, South Yorkshire Times, that they were having auditions for the pantomime. And so age 10, I stood outside Highgate Working Men's Club for 3 hours while people were going in and out, not daring to say anything and not daring to go in. And eventually somebody said to me, "What, you've been here a long time. I've been in and out and you've still been here. Are you waiting for somebody?" I went, "No, I want to audition for the pantomime." and he said, "Oh, that's just finished." they've just finished with auditions. I said, well, I've been here for 3 hours. He said, I know you have. He says, tell you what, I'll go inside and have a word. He went inside and they called me in. And they said, why do you want to be in the pantomime? I said, well, I just love it. And I saw it and I think it's amazing and wonderful. So they give me something to read, a bit of script to read. And they gave me one of the henchmen in the pantomime with a like 40-year-old bloke. And I was playing the boss one of the henchmen. And Sid Robinson was one of the directors there. And he had a big influence all throughout my life. He was a big person at the Welfare Hall in Goldthorpe, and it was the Dearn Community and Miners Welfare Scheme theatrical section. Doesn't that roll off the tongue really nicely?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how I got into it,
yeah.
And I just loved being at school. I did the school plays and everything, and I went in the South Yorkshire Theatre for Youth as well, and did a few Shakespeare with them, and I just loved it. I just love the challenge of doing a role and then being exciting and showing off a bit, I suppose.
Brilliant. So Phil, I met you, I think it was 2012 at the Noda Summer School.
Is it really?
Yeah, I didn't know anyone, and you were the first face I saw, and you were the sort of friendly welcome that I needed really to put me at ease. So just talk about your role within Noda, how that came about, and are you still doing it now?
Yeah, well, I've always been a big follower of Noda right from when I was age 10. The Noda rep used to come and write reports and everything, and so I always wanted to get involved. When I came down to Cornwall, the Noda reps used to come, and because I had my own society, then I got to know them better, and then there came an opportunity for me to be a Noda rep. So I took that on in our area and really enjoyed that, and enjoyed going and seeing other shows and learning things, both how to do things better and how not to do things as well, which is really important, I think, seeing and also seeing shows and thinking, oh, that wasn't very good. Oh, I do that. And so you learn, and it's really, really good. And I learned lots of good points and lots of things not to do. And then as I was getting more and more involved with NODA, I got the opportunity to be one of the trustees of NODA and on the council. And they were creating a new role called Councillor for Youth. And so I had to go to the council and pitch this role. And they hadn't quite decided what they were going to do, but I pitched for it. And then, so straight away at that meeting, they went, "Oh, we love your enthusiasm. We'd love you to do it. So can you come on board as an equal councillor and then drive youth forward?" So that's what I did. And it was, how can I say, it's a mixed bag of positivity, wanting to move forward and wanting to do things for youth, because I'm passionate about young people. When I was young, people gave me a lot of opportunity both in sport and theatre, and I know what it did for my confidence, and I've always been passionate about doing that. And so I wanted to do that for not just in my youth theatre group, but for all over the country. And I met with varying degrees. I'm not a shrinking violet, so I've got strong opinions and I've got a lot of experience, and I like to try things, and I like to fail at things because you learn most from failing. And so I'm always looking for how I can improve. And some of it went down very well with my fellow councillors, and other things didn't. And I still along the way got involved with NODA Summer School, which has been one of the best things I've ever done. And by having some of the tutors from NODA Summer School at my youth theatre group, it has transformed our group as well, and we have quite a lot down of the tutors, as you know, the very high standard of tutors there. So again, my passion is to help people, and that's what I love doing. And so I've done that. I started off as a student at NODA Summer School, and I think that was in 1997 or 1998, and I've been every year since. And then lately, the last sort of 10 to 12 years, I've been on the committee. And so I love having that interaction. And as you say, one of my main things is to welcome people and to interact with all the students. And that's what I love, because when you're going to a completely new place, and there's going to be 250 other people there, and you're thinking, oh my God, what's it going to be like? Am I rubbish? Are the others going to be better than me? Am I going to get on with people? Am I going to like the person who's teaching me? Am I good enough? All those feelings when you walk through that door. So I try to be the one giving hugs and welcoming people, and giving hugs if they want it. I don't make them if they don't want to hug.
I mean, all them things you say was absolutely how I was feeling, because I didn't know anybody when I was going down there. it was at the University of Warwick, and it was on a campus, and it was the most incredible experience of my life. It was just, I met so many wonderful people, and I did the musical theatre course, and to work with other people was just incredible. And you are right, you were there, sort of being that welcoming face, but you put my mind immediately at ease, and so you kept popping up throughout the week, and every time I spoke to you, your enthusiasm for what you do just shines every time.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much. It's
No,
really nice
you're
to hear.
welcome. Okay, Phil, it's time for our first game. So it's Name That Show.
Name that show.
I'm going to give you each letter of your name, okay?
Right.
And you've got to tell me a show. It can be a play or a musical, okay? But there can be no repeats, okay? So,
Okay,
are
then.
you ready?
Yeah.
P,
Pippin.
H,
Hare.
I,
Inigo Jones. Is that a show? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'll take it, L,
Ooh, Les Miserables.
I,
I had one eye. What can I have? Indiana Jones. Is that a play or a musical? I don't know. I think it's a film, isn't it?
yeah, P,
I said Pippin, didn't I? Ooh, I didn't think it would be this difficult. I should know plenty, shouldn't I?
When we've finished and we look back, you'll kick yourself.
I know I will. It's not annoying. I think my mind's going to scramble. P. Come on. I don't know. Pericles.
Okay, B,
Barnum.
A,
Why is this so difficult? I know thousands of musicals and plays. I can't think. Sorry. Can we
R,
back? Ah. Oh, I thought I'd be really good at this, and I'm absolutely nothing. It shows I haven't swatted up, doesn't it? Don't know.
N,
N. Well, I feel so ashamed. I've been in theatre all this time, and I can't even. My mind's going blank, putting me on pressure. I thought I was really good under pressure. No, go on next.
E,
E.T.
T, T,
T. The Producers.
T.
T. Another T. T-Men of Athens. Shakespeare, I think.
Okay, that's the end of Name That Show.
Name that show.
So, Phil, I,
I'm going to go and slit my wrists now.
Into the Woods.
Oh no!
P, Phantom of the Opera.
Oh my God! Right, I'm going to cut short this interview. Goodbye.
A, Annie Get Your Gun. Annie, Anything Goes.
I've been in all of them. And I've directed them.
R, Rent, Rags. Oh. And E's a difficult one, I think. You said E.T. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
No, I can't. I can think of a song, Easy Street, but I can't think of any. No.
Okay, we'll move on. So we're just going to have a go back to discussing theatre. So, why is theatre so special to you?
Everyone's talking about Jeremy.
Oh yeah.
Because it's so special to me, because of the emotions that you get, the friends, the camaraderie, the ups and downs. Why don't I just say everything that happens in life can happen in a show? It's just, the costumes, the scenery, the makeup, the props, the audience that lifts you when you're down. That song, There's No Business Like Show Business, is just perfect because it says everything. It's about working closely with people, getting close, trying to be someone else, trying to get inside someone else's thoughts, their emotions, and you lay all that bare on stage, and people like you for doing it. If you're lucky, they like you for doing it.
Yeah.
And it's that whole thing of working together, working really hard, and producing something magical. You can get out of every day. You can go and get really dive into emotions. Some of these shows are really emotional, like Rent, and getting in that. And then some are fluffy, and you can do your tea and teeth and everything like that. And it's just one, there's always something new to look forward to, something else to create, you know. Just think all the films that you've seen in your life, you can then, the musicals on television, you can bring them to life, you know. When I went to see Chitty Bang Bang at Sheffield, you know, it's just like magical. It's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's why I love it.
It's escapism, is it? A chance to
It
escape the
is.
humdrum of the 9 to 5 and it sort of lose yourself in that character and in that show.
Yeah, it is. And also we're working with young people and adults at summer school, is you see them grow. And for me, that's what people have done for me all my life in sport and in theatre. And I just want everybody to get that chance, because although people might not think they like theatre, but very often it's because they're a bit scared and a bit shy. And when you show them that actually it's not that big a skill, it's just knowledge of being someone else and trying to find their feelings and trying to find something in you that you've experienced that is similar to what this person's going through, and then make it truthful. And for something like Rent, you make it very truthful and very honest. And then like Pantomime, which I love, then you make it bigger, but it all comes from that truth. And if that's what makes the audience interested in it.
Absolutely. I'm going to put you on the spot now. So if you had to
I
pick,
hope it goes better than last time.
if you had to pick one show that you've performed in that was your favourite, what would it be?
As in the favourite show as a whole, or the part that I've done, or the experience?
I think show as a whole to start with, then we're going to get onto parts.
Okay. My favourite, I think, show that I ever did was when I played Lord Evelyn Oakley in Anything Goes. That was just really, really good fun. And that was one of my best that I enjoyed. I've also I did a really old-fashioned show called The Dancing Years. And I played the lead in that. That was really, really enjoyable as well.
Yeah. So in terms of parts you play, you've just slightly touched on Anything Goes with Lord Evelyn Oakley. Would you say that is your favourite all-time part, or have you got something that sticks out in your mind?
I think that one, and when I played Emile in South Pacific, that was brilliant, because they're just fantastic songs. It's really acting, you know, there's really strong emotions in that one, so I enjoyed that. When I was in Kiss Me Kate, I played Bill Calhoun, but I also got the chance to dance the Two Down Hot number and be the main lead in that. So that was a fantastic one. But do you know what? Every single show I've been in, whether I've had a lead or a supporting part or been in the ensemble, I've loved, because I just love being on stage and love doing it. And obviously, the more, you know, when you get lead parts and principal parts, it's really good to get into those characters, and I enjoy that. But I just enjoy, you know, I could name every single theatre piece I've done, I've loved. Yeah. Some a bit more than others, but I've really loved. There hasn't been one where, not one in all the shows I've done or I've directed, where I can turn around and say, I didn't enjoy that, I didn't like it at all. So how fortunate am I that that's been my experience.
Absolutely. And then just to put you on the spot one final time for now, best venue you've ever performed in?
Royal Albert Hall.
The Royal Albert Hall, amazing.
Yeah.
So what show was it?
Well, a couple of years ago, I was at summer school, actually, and I got a phone call from one of the ex-tutors at summer school saying, are you available in 3 weeks' time to do something? And I went, yeah, what is it? And he was, at that moment, he was resident director of 42nd Street and Hamilton in the West End. So I thought, he's got me tickets to see Hamilton. So I thought, oh, yes, I'm available, that's fine. And it's all right, you'll be getting a phone call. Anyway, I got a phone call later that day, and it said, oh, this is so-and-so from the BBC, and we'd like to offer you the part of Lieutenant Officer Krupke in The Proms in the Royal Albert Hall doing West Side Story. And I said, right, so when do I audition for that? And I said, no, the part's yours if you want it.
Oh, wow.
And so I couldn't believe it. So then 2 or 3 weeks later, I found myself going into the Albert Hall, having 20 minutes rehearsal, because mine, it was like a concert version of it. And then I had to go on an hour later. And I was scared stiff.
Well, I was going to say, did you even have time to be nervous if it was that sort of...
I did. Yes, I did, because I walked onto that Royal Albert's, it was an empty Royal Albert Hall with an orchestra, and it was what's he called? Is it John Williams, or a really famous guy with this orchestra there? And I just literally, there was just them, and I had to, Stephen, who was the director, who was one of our ex-summer school tutors, he just walked me through it. What I had to do, I had about 10 lines, something like that I'd had to learn about, walk through it. I said, I'm not doing it with the other people. We haven't got time to go through it with the other people on stage. And so then that was about an hour before the show. I had a call time. I was on there. I was 20 minutes on the stage. Had to go through, because I had to say, I didn't have to sing, but I had to say some cues with the music at the big dance and everything. I had to walk on an hour later on my own, nobody else on that stage, and say the longest line that I'd had to learn. I had to go on and do it and say, come on, everybody, start dancing and whatnot. And then, so in the hour before I did, I'd been told to bring my own suit, but I got to meet, in my dressing room was shared with all the leads from the West End and Broadway. Were there. They brought people over from Broadway, and I was sat in this dressing room with all these young. It looked really funny because I had a photograph taken with them, and it looks like I'm like the really old manager of a boy band. There's all these guys here. I felt a bit like Louis, what's he called? From
Louis Walsh.
Yeah, Louis Walsh. I felt like when I looked at the photograph, it looked like there's all these young, fit lads all there in this big dressing room with me. I've been taking a photograph, and there's me much older than any of them. And I was just saying, oh, hi, I'm Phil, and I went to introduce, hi, I'm Lee, and I'm this and I'm that. And they were all these people I'd watched on the West End, the lead in Miss Saigon, who's married to Eva Noblezada, and it's just said my wife, and then the lead in Les Mis. And they were all, and I said, oh, what do you do? And I said, I've done this and I've done that. And they were all these fantastic actors. And then the guy who was playing Tony had been flown over from Broadway.
Amazing.
To do it. The guy who played Bernardo had been flown over from Italy to do it. And so there I was. And then this woman knocked on the door, and she was from Broadway. And she said, I've just come to meet you because you're playing my dad. Because I played Lieutenant Krupke, and I had a couple of lines as her dad as well. And then there was this other, I can't, my mind's all, I'm trying to think of names now, but my mind's just full of these Broadway stars. I brought somebody over to play Nita from America, and somebody to play the lead role, the female lead. And it's just amazing at these. I was with these stars, and I was waiting literally to walk on, and they were introducing themselves to me, saying hi, just what an amazing experience. And that is the best experience of my life. And that sort of ties with being on Strictly.
Well, I'm going to get to that in a bit, so we'll pause it there. We'll move on to the next game, which is Who is the Clue?
Who is the clue? Who is the clue?
Okay, Phil, how this is going to work, okay? So there are 3 actors or actresses that I want you to guess. I'm going to give you 3 clues for each, okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so actor 1. He has performed on the West End and Broadway. He starred in EFX in Vegas, a $70 million musical in 1995, and he also appeared in Some Mothers Do Have 'Em.
Michael Crawford.
Correct. Actor or actress 2. She is a Philippine actress who starred as Princess Jasmine in the animated Aladdin film in 1992. She was named a Disney legend in 2011 for her work with the Walt Disney Company, and she was the first actress of Asian descent to play the role of Eponine and Fantine in Les Mis.
No, sorry, I don't know that one.
Okay, we'll move on. She is an American actress who started performing in the 1970s. She played Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd in 2005 and has recently appeared in Netflix sensation Hollywood.
Bill, I should know that. Tell me the clues again. Started in the 1970s.
She started performing in the 1970s. She's played Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd in 2005 and has recently appeared in the Netflix sensation Hollywood.
Bette Midler?
It's not Bette Midler. Okay, that's the end of Who is the Clue.
Who is the clue? Who is the clue?
Have you any further ideas on who the Philippine actress might be?
Leah Salonga.
It is Leah Salonga.
Hey.
Leah Salonga. Okay, and the American actress?
See, Angela Lansbury I was thinking, but she's English as well. Mrs. Lovett. Who played Mrs. Lovett? No, sorry, I've gone out my head.
Patti LuPone.
Do you know, I watch her. Do you watch her on Twitter?
No.
Lockdown, she's been hilarious. She takes you all around the house and everything and talk. She's brilliant. Should have known that. Another one.
It's difficult when you're on the spot, isn't it?
It is, but I love the challenge of it. But I feel like oh yes, you've got me in because you've had so much experience in theatre. Oh yeah, right.
So I asked you to fill out a pre-recording questionnaire, and there's some interesting answers on there. So obviously your happy place, as you've discussed and as we can tell, is on stage. But one of the questions I wanted to come to is, if you had the power to change one thing in the world, what would it be and why? Can you remember what you put?
Was it people being negative?
Yes. So your answer was for everyone to be happy because there's too much negativity.
Yeah. Yeah, I find, happiness is just such a wonderful thing. And particularly with social media now, everyone's got an opinion. Everybody kind of hides behind it. And I'm very fortunate that I wake up feeling very energetic and in a really good mood. And my life has been very happy. And it is like a Disney movie. I'm not saying everything's been perfectly happy. Of course, I've had challenges to face, but I just love seeing the good in everything. And I just wish everybody could do that, because isn't it lovely to cheer people up and, to walk down the street and go, morning, how are you? And I understand that some people have difficult lives. I've had a charmed life where everything has gone well for me and I've had no tragedy in my life.
Yeah.
Although I've known quite a few people who have. But, I just feel really blessed that I've got that attitude. And I love being around positive people and who've got, it really enthuses me to lift. Can you imagine, like I've just been talking about walking into that Royal Albert Hall and seeing all these people who've made it to the top of the tree and having the most famous orchestra there and being in the Albert Hall. That's the second time I've been lucky enough to have something to do with the Albert Hall, and it's just amazing.
Okay, so I asked you to describe yourself in 5 words, and the words you put were caring, loud, dedicated, loyal, and passionate. I think definitely for the loyalness, the passionate, and the dedication, you can tell that straight away. Okay, but how would your friends describe you in 5 words? You put loud, supportive, amusing, honest, and persuasive. Why would you put that your friends would think you're persuasive? Give me an example.
Because if anybody offers me any help, I just can't. I'll always flog a willing horse to death. And I want what's best for those people or what I'm doing. And so I will persuade people. If people say, I'm not sure whether to do that, and I'll say, you will love it. You'll really enjoy it. Come on, do that. Or, if people come along and say, I've just popped in for an hour, I say, oh, lovely. Can you do this, and this? And, I always start off with a new volunteer saying, I will flog a willing horse to death. So don't let me persuade you to do things you don't want to do.
A crazy but true fact about you. You put, I'm shy if I win a raffle.
I know. It doesn't fit in with anything about my personality, does it? I can go...
Do you mean you're shy as in if you've got the winning ticket, you're shy to go and receive the gift?
Yeah. It's really weird. I don't know why, because if I was anywhere and they said, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, somebody came on and said, I'm sorry, but the show can't go on because so-and-so's sick, I would say, I'll do it. Or if I had to get up, if there was something why people couldn't go on, I could get up even to a room full of strangers and talk to them and have a bit of fun with the audience and off the cuff and I can do all of that. And so it doesn't fit in with anything. I don't know. But I think it might have come from once when I was an adult, but quite young, I won a raffle and then I won a second prize. And I sort of, instead of doing the thing that you should do and saying, draw it again, I just didn't think, and I got it and I went up for the second one. And I think then I think something about that, I don't know whether it sticks in because it doesn't fit in with me. And I think it's crazy.
Another question I asked you, if in 150 years science fails to save us and all that is left is a book about your life, what would the title be, and what would the blurb be that tells us about you? So the title you put, I never stopped trying. And the blurb, he made the most of what he had. Do you want to just give a bit more context to that?
Yes. I'm quite talented at sports, particularly at badminton. But anything else, I'm not that talented at. And everything I've done, I've worked for and worked hard and had passion for it and made the most of what I've got. And that's what I tell young people and adults at summer school as well now, that you can always improve, and don't just improve on the things you're good at, improve at on your weaknesses as well. And I've done really, really well by blagging my way through things. Having the gift of the gab, I've got that, I think. But I haven't been particularly, what I've done with acting is I've really worked hard at learning skills to do it. And so it's nothing in my life, apart from badminton, I think, has come easy. So I've always been one to work and always try my best. And even if singing has always been a bit of a challenge for me, but now I can go and sing along with the best, with best people. Even people in West End I've shared stages with and sung with them and not look too bad. I've never got a voice that people are going to die for, and you go and listen and go, oh wow. But I don't stand out for the wrong reasons. Although in the past I have done that in certain things that I've done when I've not had enough rehearsal. So that's what, for me, I've always tried hard. And anything I do, my career, which is hairdressing, I've seen some people who are fantastically creative, but I've sort of done it by hard work and being creative in my mind, but I haven't quite got what they've got. When you see somebody doing a painting and they can just draw and they can do things like that, or somebody singing a song and their voice, and you just go, oh, that's just wonderful. I've never had that. So that's why I put those things there.
Brilliant.
It's the quickfire quiz round.
Okay, this is the quickfire quiz round. So you've got 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. You have to guess the musical from the props list I read out. There are 10 questions in total. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let me just get my timer set.
How long we got?
60 seconds.
Okay.
Here we go. Chalkboard, cake, cup and TV.
Here we go. No, pass.
Emerald glasses, wheelchair, broom and wand.
Wicked.
Correct. Crates, flags, tankards and manacles.
Beauty and the Beast.
It's not. Fish, guitar, yellow hat and beer.
Don't know.
Marshmallows, flour, apron and rolling pin.
Oh, waitress.
Correct. Clock, computer, telephone and photocopier.
Come from away. No, don't know. No.
Nope. Umbrella, brown bag, black hat and medicine bottle.
Mary Poppins.
Correct. Balloons, bunting, stilettos and globe.
Australian Priscilla.
No, it's not Priscilla. Your next one is frog, King James Bible, golden plate and suitcase.
Oh dear. No.
White mask, boat, red nose,
Phantom.
Phantom. Correct.
It's the quickfire quiz round.
And your time is up. You got all 10 answered. Well, you got through all 10 anyway. Okay, let's just go back. So, crates, flags, tankards and manacles.
Crates, flags, tankards.
Flags being a real clue.
Les Mis.
Les Mis, yeah.
Oh, stupid.
Fish, guitar, yellow hat and beer. Now, I think this is a particularly difficult one.
Fish, guitar, yellow hat and beer. Not once.
It's not once. You actually said it later on for another answer. It's come from away.
All right.
Clock, computer, telephone and photocopier.
9 till 5.
It is 9 to 5, yeah. And the balloons, bunting, stilettos and globe is Everybody's Talking About Jamie. And then Frog, King James Bible, Golden Plate and Suitcase.
I should know this, shouldn't I? I really should know this.
Yeah, you should. Book of Mormon. Okay.
Do you know what? I don't particularly like that show. Everybody raves about it, but I don't particularly like it. It just didn't resonate with me.
That's absolutely fair. You know, not everyone has to like every show.
No, but I love anything. I love anything. I would say that's the only example of a show I can give you that I thought they were brilliant doing it, but it didn't. And I laughed, but not like everybody else was.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to see it in Manchester, and there were people around us that were absolutely belly laughing at a lot of stuff. And I'm like you, I found it really funny. And I do like Trey Parker and Matt Stone for South Park and a bit of escapism, but I wouldn't say I was belly laughing at things. I liked a lot of what they were saying and stuff, but yeah, it's not there as one of my favourite shows, put it that way. Okay, let's move on then. Okay, so you were briefly alluded to it earlier, and I stopped you in your tracks. So I wanted to hold fire. So, how on earth does it come about that you end up on The People Strictly Come Dancing?
I don't know, but it was just the most amazing experience that you could ever wish for. For years, ever since it started, I've watched every episode of Strictly, and I've loved it. It's, you know, sequins, glitter, camp. You know, what else? What more can you ask for? And it's just wonderful, and I think, and the skill is wonderful in it. And I've sat there like all of us on a Saturday night watching it, thinking, "Oh, I wish I could do that. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that." Anyway, unbeknownst to me, they did some adverts for a thing called The People Strictly for Comic Relief, and it was BBC. It was a program Strictly, and 11,000 people were nominated. You had to be nominated, and it had to be someone who'd been through a rough time or done a lot for charity or something like that, you know. And my sister and one of our ex-kids here at Kids Are Us nominated me. And I had to go with my sister to BBC in London and do a little test, I suppose. And they told me I was going to be on an ident. Do you know what an ident is? It's one of them things you see before a program starts, and they say, right, next coming up is the news or whatever, and you see like people on cycles going around a roundabout or dancing clothes, or that's an ident. And they said, we're going to do that. We're going to do that with people who've been involved with theatre, and so we're just doing that. So we need to see if you can move a bit. And so I had to watch a film and do a bit of dancing and everything, and that was just like half an hour, and they're asking me questions and whatnot, and for this ident, you know, and I thought, oh, that's exciting, it's brilliant, you know. And then one day or one weekend, I got a choreographer coming down to choreograph a show that I was in, and it was a Kids Are Us show, but I was taking one of the parts, and the choreographer come down that weekend, and my partner Ian said to me on the Friday night, look, somebody's invited us out for dinner, and you know, can we go for dinner? I said, well, there's rehearsal. And Ian said, look, I never ask for anything, which he doesn't. He said, just this once, let's go out with these people, because we haven't seen them. So I went out for dinner. And then on the Saturday morning, when we were due to go to rehearsal, again with this choreographer of a show that I was in, he said, you can't go down yet. And he'd been getting lots of phone calls, and he never gets phone calls. And so I said, hang on a minute, something's up here, what's happening? And he said, shut up, don't ask, you'll love it. He's from Yorkshire as well, where we call a spade a shovel.
Yeah.
And so I just said, well, what? Tell me. He said, I can't, you'll shut up, you'll love it. So I did, I shut up. And then he said, right, in a half an hour, we've got to walk to the theatre. And then he said, oh no, we've got to wait another half hour. And I was getting phone calls. I'm thinking, what's happening here? And I had to walk up to the audience entrance to our theatre, which is the door I never use. And just as we were walking up to it, it went, by the way, you're on television, there's television cameras here, like this, as we were walking up. And he said, all you got to do is walk up that road and walk into the theatre. And I love anything, I love a surprise. And I thought the mayor was going to give me an award or something for what I've done for the kids of St Ives or something. That was the only thing I could think of. It must be, the mayor must be thanking me for my work for charity or something. And I walked in. One of our kids, 6-year-old kids, grabbed my hand, walked into the main door. All the lights went on. They started singing, thank you for the music. All the kids, our kids, have been working with Matt Flint, a choreographer who works with Strictly. And I think he won the dancer, you know, so you think he can dance.
Yeah.
And I was walked onto the stage. The audience was full of people I know, all clapping and cheering. Lights went on.
Absolutely incredible.
It was incredible, and we were just treated like the celebs who had gone Strictly. Yeah. And we were filmed, and they did 4 programs altogether, a documentary 4 telling us about the work that we do. And when I met, I had to go up to Strictly, I had to walk in. I was the first one out of the 6 of us to walk into the Strictly studio and look around and see it all. And it was all quiet, and nobody was in there, just me. Nobody else, and the lights were on. And then one by one, they all came and introduced themselves. And I felt a bit of a charlatan because they'd all the other 5 had tragedy in their life, whereas I hadn't had tragedy. I just had this wonderful life in theatre, you know. But because I'd done a lot for other people, that's why I was nominated.
And rightly so, rightly deserved.
Amazing.
So that was 6 years ago.
I know, I can't believe it, and I can't believe they haven't asked me back every year since.
Oh, imagine.
Because do you know what was the best thing as well about it? No, the whole experience was amazing and much more than I ever could have dreamed of. But I actually got 4 tens as well. So how amazing is that? You know, not only do you get to dance on Strictly, but to get 4 tens. It was lovely because my partner, Jeanette Monrara, had never had 4 tens before.
Yeah.
So she got that in it. And just meeting all these celebs and all the dancers and everything, you know, and they said, you'll always be part of the Strictly family now. And so, you know, I know all these famous people now, and I go to occasional parties with them, and I get asked to judge Strictly competitions. So it's amazing.
Brilliant. Okay, just before we wrap up then, I want you to talk about Kids Are Us. You've briefly touched on Kids Are Us, but just tell us what it is, and tell us about your role within the company.
Okay, so I started it by accident with a concert for Save the Children Fund 27 years ago, and it just grew and grew. And 3 years after we'd started, we got offered the chance to buy this building, and it's an old Wesley chapel. And the Methodist company, there were 5 chapels in St Ives, and this was the biggest one, and it was no longer used very much. And it had, you know, like a congregation of 15 people, and it seated 1,000 people.
Wow.
So a big community meeting because they were going to sell it, and there was some talk about why don't we have it as a community building. As we were going around it, everybody was going, oh no, it's too big, we wouldn't get on, everybody would be fighting over it, So I stood behind and waited at the end, and I went, could we have it? And they said, well, if you can get the deposit. Yeah, if you can get the deposit, you've got 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks, we raised £37,000.
Wow. From
the local community, and there's 16 people who gave £1,000 each, and then we raised all the others by doing tombolas, you know, sponsored events, everything, appeals, and bric-a-brac sales, everything. And we raised that money, so we put the deposit down, and it cost £100,000. Then we realised that although we could put a stage on top of the pews, as they did for some concerts, there was no wings, and more importantly, no dressing rooms. So the other half of the building belonged to the Methodist Church, and that was a hostel. And so they had underprivileged kids come down and spend holidays in St Ives. But as they were selling it, it'd been sold to a backpackers. One of our parents went and argued with the Methodist Church and said, we haven't got any dressing rooms, we need 2 lower ground rooms. So this parent bought them for £60,000, and you have to pay me back, you know, when you can. And so we got this mortgage of £100,000, and we just paid it off in 10 years and worked hard at it. And so we've done musicals. We've been very fortunate that we've performed at the Albert Hall and at the Palladium, at the Criterion Theatre in London as well, in the West End. We did a world premiere there. We did part of Noda's 100 celebrations at the Albert Hall and the Palladium. We've been at the Minack Theatre, which, if anybody doesn't know, it's a wonderful, my favourite theatre in the world, on the edge of the cliffs in Cornwall. I've directed and performed in many shows there over the years.
Absolutely stunning, isn't it? It's absolutely stunning, yeah.
It's wonderful. And so, and over, you know, thousands of kids have been through Kids Are Us. And what's lovely now is I've got letters from the kids saying I wouldn't be alive now if it wasn't for Kids Are Us.
Oh, wow.
And kids just coming back and saying, when you shouted at us as a kid, we thought you were horrible, but we understand now you did it, and you've given us such skills for life. And we've all over the place. We've got people who, you know, who are working in theatre in the West End, on tours, on cruises. But it doesn't matter to me whether they do that as a career or not. It's just the confidence that you get. You know yourself that you know what being on stage gives you. You know. So it's just been amazing.
I absolutely need to come and visit when things get back to normal.
You should do it. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. So just before we finish then, any advice or wisdom that you could impart to our audience?
I wouldn't say wisdom, but the advice I would give is if you want something, go for it and don't let people tell you no. Because you can always strive for it, and you may have horrendous obstacles to overcome, but you know, if you reach for the moon and only get the stars, then what does that matter? It's really, really important that everybody knows that they're able to go for it, allow themselves to go for it. Don't let anybody else. I've seen so many people tell people you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or typecast people, you know, in life, for theatre and in life. No, do what you want. You just go for it, and really be kind and be lovely to people along the way, and pick yourself up. Failure is a really, really good thing if you learn from it. It's not if you keep on making the same mistakes, but you go there and be whatever you want to be. I mean, in your career on stage, did you think you would ever be doing some of the things that you've done?
No, I didn't.
You know, and
it was a chance meeting with someone that the reason I'm on stage now. So
yeah. And that's what, and everybody can do that, whether it's in theatre or it's in life or it's in your career or whatever. Don't listen to people who tell you you're not good enough or you're not capable or anything like that. You go for it, I say.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So you've been Phil Barnett. You're an absolutely incredibly passionate guy. You're an absolute gent, and it's been an absolute privilege to have you on It's Showtime. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. I feel privileged to be part of it. So thanks for asking me. Thank you very much.
So this is Phil Barnett. He is a St Ives-based Chairman of Trustees for Kids Are Us. He was born in Goldthorpe, Barnsley. Career highlights include performing on the Royal Albert Hall stage that he got 3 weeks' notice for, and he was also contestant on The People's Strictly Come Dancing. Phil, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. See you again sometime. Bye, everyone.